So you know how we said we want to start like taking notes because we always think about things throughout the week and we're like, we should talk about them on the podcast.
Yes. We were like, we should make a list of all these things so we don't forget.
Well, I don't know if you remember, the other day I did write a note down.
Is this when we were driving?
I don't even remember. Yeah, we were doing something.
I think we were driving.
And so I pulled it up in, preparation.
Right.
And I literally have absolutely no idea what we were talking about.
Hit me. I don't know what we're talking about. So go ahead.
So this is my note to remember for this episode.
Yeah.
In and out, horrible people, boots.
Horrible people.
I could talk about In-N-Out. Horrible people, comma, boots.
I mean, we went to In-N-Out last weekend, like on Saturday night. So maybe, is that when we wrote it down?
I guess, but
what happened in... Oh my God, I remember.
You remember?
Horrible people in In-N-Out, like the rude people that were there. Was that it? We had a couple of like rude encounters.
Mean?
I don't know about. Oh my God, it's all coming back. There was a woman at In-N-Out who complimented me on my boots.
Oh yeah, we hated everyone except her because she was the only one that was nice.
Yeah, so we like went out for a friend's birthday and we were like, it's late, we're tired. In-N-Out sounds good. Your girls end up at In-N-Out, and everyone there was like horribly rude to us. And Taryne kept trying to like go find a table.
That lady yelled at me.
Kept trying to go find a table, and people would glare at her and said, "This is taken."
Yeah.
And so she was all offended and upset. So yeah, I think that was it. We just hated everyone there.
So it does work.
I guess it works.
It should be our game.
It literally came flooding back so quick because of the boots.
In-N-Out, horrible people, boots.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Ashley.
I'm Taryne.
And this is Unsolicited Advice. And guys, I am so excited to encourage you guys right now. If you have not written in a story, if you have a story that you think you kind of want to share, but you're just not really sure about it, or if you think it's not that good, or if you think you're just a horrible writer, like that's a bunch of crap.
Oh,
write the story, send it to us. We want it. It's so interesting, and we want to hear your guys' stories. And I guarantee you that someone else would relate to your story.
Yes. And the thing is like, this is the perfect opportunity to write that one thing. You know how we all have that one thing that we don't speak of, but it's happened. And we would love if we could talk to someone about it, but we're like embarrassed or whatever. So this is the time to write in. Just be anonymous. We always stick to the code.
If we don't want your name out, we will not put your name out.
Sometimes we forget to even write names, and people are anonymous that didn't even want to be.
Unsolicitedly?
What?
I really tried to make that work.
But yeah, you guys should definitely send stuff in. The weirder, the better, because that's the stuff people relate to because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You hear someone's story like over a podcast or over a radio, and you're just like, wait, that happened to me. And then it just, it feels good to know you're not alone. So send in your stories if you're hesitant at all. Anonymity, my friends. Anonymity.
And also, we thought we'd just shout out our socials because we usually do that at the end. And, there might be some skippers.
Yeah, we have the Facebook. We have the Instagram. We have the Twitter and the Tube. So
I'm taking full responsibility for our YouTube fail. But okay, so this episode won't come out for a week. So I'm declaring that if you go right now,
she's manifesting this.
All of the videos will be up to date. If they are not, you can do an edit of my face on something weird.
Ooh.
Ashley's
I want to give them an idea.
Don't.
I want to give them an idea.
Yeah.
A taco?
A taco? How do you put? That's like it. I just would
put your face on a taco. Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Oh shit.
Well, I would like to just ask you, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Are you sure?
I'm so good. Taryne and I basically spent this last week or so binge watching the show You.
Oh yeah.
Which I feel like it's been on like everyone's like top things to talk about.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion about it.
The memes have been
unreal.
Gold.
And this is the thing that I love about like watching a show together with the nation. Basically, it's like Game of Thrones. Like every time an episode came out, people would start talking and like converse and have this whole opinion on what they thought like should have been done or could be done or what it means kind of thing. But with Netflix, because it's such a binge thing, people like blast through it.
Oh yeah,
within like a day.
Within the week it was released, I was already like, oh my gosh, I can't look at anything. It was
so flooded. Yeah. So Taryne and I are actually a little behind on getting to this because I feel like people watched it so fast. But we finally watched it and it was unreal. And yeah, it was kind of scary. It kind of left us a little like, ooh, scary.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we'll try not to give any spoilers because if you haven't watched it yet, you should. But yeah, it's just I didn't love the ending of this season. I felt like it got a little bit too like drama.
Yeah, it got a little soapy for us.
Yeah,
we had a conversation
that
about
was part of what was so scary about it was like this could totally happen.
Yeah,
and I do think obviously there are freaking nuts, like horrible people out there. So like it still could happen the way it's going.
Yeah,
but I think it's a little bit more where you're like, oh, this is like a soap opera.
Yeah, I think towards the end it got soap opera-y. So definitely watch it for yourselves. Let us know what you think.
But it did trigger some very interesting conversations we've been having.
Yes.
You guys know this. We are obsessed with true crime stuff. We're obsessed with talking about how to protect ourselves and how to not get murdered is always the goal.
The ultimate goal.
So
survival.
Yes. So this all kind of started because me and Ash had dinner with a friend and she shared a scary thing that had happened to her and how she handled it. And both of us were like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Like, I don't know if I would think to do that. We should do advice on how not to get killed or how do you like prepare and protect yourself in scary situations. So we are going to do a story in a little bit, but right now we're going to freaking protect you and teach you how to survive.
We're going to drop some knowledge on you folks.
Yes.
Drop some knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Basically, our friend was telling us about how basically the whole conversation started on the show You and how terrifying, how absolutely terrifying it is that this is a normal guy and an actually like charming guy that is doing all of these crazy things and using things like Facebook and using things like Instagram to stalk his victims basically. And we're over here sitting here like, okay, our entire lives are on social media. So we're sitting here like horrified and just kind of freaking out like, wow, do we quit? Do we like private everything? Do we just drop out? Like what's going to happen? And then our friend was explaining about how like she couldn't finish the show because it was too much for her and went into detail about how she has been stalked before in the past. And there was one time she was just like walking down the street. And this is when like me and Taryne were both just like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And for a very long amount of time, a very significant amount of time, this guy was following her. And I know like we live in cities where you could very easily be headed to the same grocery store as someone else. So it's not too freaky. But every time she stopped, he would stop. And every time she would, stop to like tie her shoe or something like that, he would stop. And she was very aware of this whole like he was moving with her kind of thing. And basically what ended up happening is she was walking towards a couple of people. They were complete strangers. It looked like a couple, she said. And she just ran up and gave them a huge hug and said very loudly something. What did she say?
She was like, oh my gosh, like, it's so good to see you.
So good to see you.
Yeah. So making it seem like they were.
Yeah. And then whispered in their ears, I'm being stalked or I'm being followed.
Yeah.
And then she said the woman in the couple of the two people was like, oh, you totally are. And they like walked into a building with her. And I thought that was the smartest thing.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing. I was like, that's something that I feel like most strangers would do for you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if like some creepy guy is just standing there and obviously stalking you. But
yeah, no, totally.
I wouldn't have thought of that. I would like to hope that I had thought of that.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't have. So it's interesting.
Yeah. There was one time I was standing and I saw like a girl walking her dog and this like super creepy guy walked up to her and I could tell just by watching that she was so uncomfortable and he was like blocking her with his body.
Yeah.
So like every time she would be like, oh, okay, and try to walk away, he would like change and shift his body to like keep her from being able to go.
Yeah.
And so I was very like aware. So I was going into somewhere, but I literally just stayed at my car and watched her and was like pretending I was getting stuff from my car. Cause you know, us girls, we got to stick together.
We really do. We really do.
Or anybody, like you should be aware of people around you if they need help. And so, I had overheard her say her name. I can't remember now. Say it was like Sarah.
Yeah.
And, so she started getting closer and he started getting more aggressive. So then I stepped and was like, oh my God, Sarah. And she was like, oh, and like walked over and we were talking.
Without even having to have that conversation, she knew exactly what you were doing.
No, she instantly. And then so she kind of like bolted to get over to me. And then he became like aware, like, okay, well, someone else is watching me. So he left and then she got super emotional and was just like, thank you so much. Like, I didn't know what to do. And so it's just, I mean, like, you just got to think, because when sometimes you freeze in those moments.
You do, yeah.
And that is my hope, is that we'll read these things that are not from us, but like from different people researching this stuff. And that way, like, if you're ever in a situation, you can be like, oh yeah, like I've heard about this, or I know to do this, you know?
Yeah. I remember, I think I said it on this podcast, but one of my mom's friends had something similar happen. A guy grabbed her like in a crowd, not crowded, but like in like a area, like a busy area, where like it felt like one of those like death grips around both her wrists.
Yeah.
And she just started like acting crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not like singing scripture,
yeah.
like quoting weird quotes, kind of like shaking a little bit. Like she just went into this completely weird person, and he dropped her so fast. She said like he looked in her eyes and like saw crazy and like let go super quick, because like that's like, terrifying.
No, this isn't worth it.
You know, like grabbing just a random woman is like, okay, like I could probably, she is like smaller. Like I could probably get away with that. But then if you look insane, you have to be insane to handle that, you know? Like, that's like, girl, I don't think so.
No, totally. So that's kind of where we're going. So should we take a quick break and then like get into all the juice? All right. So we'll take a quick break, get out your notepads, or remember to, revisit this episode. Because yes, we're trying to keep you all alive. Dun, dun, dun. So you know how we're obsessed with not getting murdered and killed and
it's my goal in life, actually.
It is my goal in life. Well, one of the places where I tend to be the most scared is when I'm home alone.
Every time. Every time.
So I was freaking so excited because I've heard of this company on other crime podcasts, which I just want us to be one. Simply Safe.
Big fan.
Is sponsoring this episode, y'all.
Go us.
Go us. We're so official. So Simply Safe is home security, and it is literally like straight up the type that like Fortune 500 companies would use.
That's what we need.
And if you think about it, like all these companies use these like amazing systems because they want to know that like the police would be there immediately, everything would be taken care of. And when you get Simply Safe, guys, it's exactly the kind of security you get in your own freaking home.
It's incredible. If there's a break-in, for example, Simply Safe uses real video evidence to give police an eyewitness account of the actual crime, which is never the case with break-ins. Like, no one has video proof of the criminal breaking into your house.
It's amazing.
And if they have that kind of video evidence, then police dispatches up to 350% faster than a normal burglar alarm, which seconds are precious. Minutes, even more precious.
Yeah.
Like, very crucial. Yeah. So that's incredible. Outdoor cameras and doorbells alert you to anyone approaching your home. There's entry, motion, and glass break sensors, which guard the inside of your home, which glass breaker, necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely necessary. It's all monitored 24/7 by live security professionals. And get this, guys. It's only 50 cents a day, no contracts.
Like 50 cents
Mic drop.
Or death, people.
It's worth it.
Or death.
If those are your
that's your only two options.
This is for you. Do this for you.
Do you want to die?
You're worth 50 cents.
So if you guys want to get on this and not die, go to simplysafe.com/advice today to get free shipping on your order, plus a 60-day money-back guarantee if for some reason you want death. Why?
No, go. Just go.
Take over.
That's simplysafe.com/advice, ADVICE, to save on home security today. Again, simplysafe.com/advice. Thank you.
Live.
You're welcome. Your life, it's because of us.
Don't die.
Okay, and we're back. So basically, Taryne and I did some research for you guys, and the only thing that I really found was that one of the main things that really affected victims from their stalkers was thinking that it wasn't actually stalking and kind of dismissing it. Like, it was a really common problem where it's like once the cops talked to the victims, it's like, no, he'd been stalking me for years or for months. Yeah. And I kept dismissing it as like, oh, he's just a little odd, or he's not dangerous. He's just a little, socially unaware. And they didn't realize that what the actual stalker was doing was stalking.
Yeah.
They just put it as like, oh, he's an odd kind of guy, or she's an odd kind of girl.
Yeah.
So they said one of the best things to keep yourself safe from stalkers is to know what stalking actually is. So the Bureau of Justice has a whole list, and it's actually not that long, but it makes complete sense. One of the first ones is making unwanted phone calls, sending unsolicited, name drop, letters or emails to the person, following or spying on a victim, which includes just showing up at maybe your local grocery store way too often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that happens every now and then. It shouldn't happen all the time.
No, yeah.
Showing up at places without a legitimate reason where you wouldn't run into them. So the grocery store is a common place to run into someone. If you run into them at your job and they don't work there, that's odd. That's something to keep an eye out for. Waiting at places for the victim is a very common one. So if you have a routine and you happen to see them, I don't know, outside your gym frequently and just kind of waiting there, that's a bad sign. Leaving unwanted items, presents, or flowers. If they're not your friend, presents are kind of a big red flag. So it doesn't have to be a huge present, but if you're constantly getting these random things from someone that you don't know that well, that's a red flag, and that's a big sign. And then the last one was posting information or spreading rumors about the victim online, which could just be pictures. Even if you're in his or her story, or if you are reading stuff about someone online and you know that it's you, that's a bad flag too.
No, I love that there's all those elements though, because I think you think stalking is he follows me. He's always where I am. But even the unwanted emails, unwanted phone calls, even down to that, I think it's like you said, girls don't know that, or guys, because guys definitely get it too.
Yeah.
Don't know that they can stand up and be like, hey,
stop.
I'm not wanting these advances, and they keep happening, even though he's not showing up where I am.
Yeah.
There's other things going on too.
Yeah. And it's not always that forward. The email might not be very dangerous sounding. It could just be a simple question on how you made, it smelled really good the other day. What were you cooking? And all these random questions that they might be asking you about. They shouldn't be asking you. So be aware of that. Any kind of contact that is unwanted.
Anyone who's ever watched you, every inch of this, every second of this episode, they're going to be I understand why they're concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I rounded up tips to protect yourself. And this applies for literally everyone, because every time we listen to crime stuff, I feel unfortunately most of the time it's girls getting kidnapped and stuff like that.
I mean, statistically, yes.
Yeah.
Girls are more vulnerable, but it
totally
happens.
But there's men that stuff happens to. There's elderly people. There's children. There's no one is totally safe from thinking that they don't have to be smart about this.
Right.
So all y'all need to listen. Okay. So I did literally I went through a bunch of articles, and then I I also found it was really interesting, like a woman police officer with like the cases she's seen, she also gave stuff to. So I'm just going to go through. If you want to comment on any or like, you know, amplify what I'm saying. So the first one, and a lot of these are because a lot of kidnappings or like attacks and stuff like that happen when you're approaching your car or like, you know, at night, like you're going to your car, things like
Parking garages. Oof.
Totally. So a lot of these have to do with that. But the like one of the number one things I always saw is like awareness and looking around you and taking the time to like as you're walking, like glancing behind you, glancing to the side, like before you just walk into a parking lot, walk into somewhere, like actually taking a moment to like scan the area and just be aware.
You mean put your phone down?
Girl, that's point 2.
I was just picturing of like what I would be doing walking into a garage, and it would be like with my phone out, pulling up directions.
Because you feel uncomfortable, so you look at your phone or like when you're walking, whatever. But that was another thing. Like having headphones in is like the worst thing you can do because a lot of attackers are looking for like victims that are not aware. So they're looking for girls that look nervous and are looking down and or boys or whatever. So that was another one to like just put your phone down. And the whole like looking around is because you should be able to trust your instincts. Mm-hmm. And you know, like how many times have you like had someone walk by you and just like making eye contact, you're like, I'm uncomfortable.
Shivers going down your spine. Yeah. And you have no zero reason for it, but you just know you want to be nowhere near that guy.
And I think sometimes it can be wrong, but I also think that's like our God-given radar that tells us like, you know, to pay attention. And a lot of times like in like Crime Junkie, they'll be like, oh yeah, this guy made her really uncomfortable, but she went and met with him anyways. And it's like, now you're dead. So it's like, we need to pay attention to what we feel.
Yeah, I think I've heard so many stories about how gut instinct is what saves someone. And it's not reasonable. It doesn't always make sense. No, there is no proof, but like trust your gut.
Yeah.
You have to.
Oh no, totally. I did see something that says you should have your phone in your hand just in case you need to like call 911.
Yeah.
And a reminder, if you guys hold, you know, when you hold like you're going to turn off your phone, there's like the swipe for power off and then there's also swipe for emergency calls. So that's always like if you need like a quick access. So that was another thing.
There's been multiple times where me or Taryne have been walking by ourselves somewhere like late at night and we've just called each other. Yeah. And just like had each other on the phone. Yeah. I've done that with my parents.
Well, and not even that you have to have the phone to you because you should be listening or whatever, but just to know like someone's on the phone with you.
Yeah, because if something happened, then they would hear right away.
Totally. Another one was that the second you get in your car, you should immediately lock your doors. That's something I don't always do. I do when I'm nervous, but a lot of things that I read were saying that a lot of kidnappings or burglaries or whatever is just literally someone walking up to a car and opening the door. Yeah. Because people don't think to do it right away, or you get in and you're dropping your groceries off and you're putting your purse and you're looking at directions and whatever, and the whole time like your door's just unlocked. So that getting in that practice of like right when you get in your car, just pushing lock on your door.
Yeah. And there was a story I heard of where a guy, it was a busy parking lot, like a grocery store or a Target or something like that, and the guy got in to the passenger seat with the woman driving because it was unlocked and he had a gun. And she drove away because she was at gunpoint. And literally no one noticed.
Yeah. No, because you just think, well, who would just walk up into a car? Exactly. Like, obviously, they know each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Another one was to pay attention to the cars parked around you. Mm-hmm. If there is a large van that's parked on your driver's side.
I hate that.
You should be very weary of it because a lot of times they'll use like large vehicles. And I remember hearing that a successful kidnapping, like with nothing went wrong and whatever, can literally take as little as 10 to 15 seconds.
It's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying.
That's terrifying. So it's worth being a little bit aware that if you see a vehicle and taking that extra minute to either make sure someone's watching you get in your car or, you know, wait it out.
Yeah.
Another one that was interesting that I didn't think of is if you're approaching your car, especially if it's like late at night and you see you have a flat tire, they suggested that you immediately go back into where you were and call service and don't approach your car until service gets there.
Oh, that's good, because you would bend down and inspect it and stuff.
Or someone would come up and be like, oh, you have a flat tire, let me help you. And that might be the attacker.
Ooh,
which I didn't think about.
clever.
Like usually I would go and be like, oh, my tire's flat, and then I would like sit in my car until someone came.
Yeah.
But they were saying like don't even approach your car, just call AAA or call whatever, and then wait in public till comes.
That's terrifying.
Like would you have thought of that?
No,
I
not
would
of that.
not have thought of that. Another one is just reminding that we all have the option of asking security or workers to walk us to our car.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we get embarrassed. Like we don't want to be like,
I do.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm fine. Like I'm just being a baby. But if you really have that nervous feeling, just going in and being like, hey, I'm so sorry, but can you just watch me go to my car? You know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like just my personality is like, I don't want to be one of those like needy people, or I don't want to like need someone or be what's the word?
Since you guys can't see her, she's literally holding both of her hands up and wiggling her fingers. I don't spirit fingers, jazz hands.
Like someone that doesn't like. Ugh, it's so gone. The word is gone.
Self-sufficient, independent,
independent kind of, but like a needy type of girl. There's a term for that. High maintenance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I try really hard not to be a high maintenance type of person, and sometimes I feel like that could feel like I need you to walk me to my car kind of thing. I feel unsafe in like, just a normal place, and I need to get that out of my head. Like, that's
totally
horrible thinking, and I can't think that way, but I need to get past that.
Yeah, no, and I'm because I have all brothers, so it's like I have to be tough. I have to like show everyone I can do it, and like I don't get scared, and but you just need to be careful.
It's better to just like tell someone,
completely. Another one. So again, in the whole like being in public, take self-defense. Like educate yourself on how to protect yourself. I know when I did Krav Maga and Thai kickboxing, like my confidence level went up so much because I was like, I'm confident that I would at least be able to put up a fight. And the whole hope is that you can put up a fight long enough for like someone to hear or to help you.
Right. You don't have to, actually be able to kill someone.
Or do you?
Just stall a little bit.
Yeah. Another one was to actually, if you feel like you're being followed, to confront them in a way that lets them know that you're aware that they're following you. Because a lot of times, like I said before, they're looking for like quote unquote a soft target. So someone who it's like they don't know I'm here. I'm going to be able to just surprise them and go. So if you turn and just say like, hey, can I help you? Or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're like, oh, shoot. And they'll just go
thrown
away.
Off.
Yeah.
Because, that makes sense. If they're trying to be sneaky and sneak up on you, if you make it very clear that you see them and you've been seeing them.
Yes, ma'am. A couple like car ones. So I feel like everyone's heard this one, but like, if you're ever like in a trunk, how you can like try to kick the brake lights out so that you can,
get your hand out
and wave. Because I know, and it's funny because if I ever see a sketchy car, I'm so paranoid. If I see a sketchy car, sometimes I will literally like turn my music down and roll my window down and like will listen. And I also will like watch for like any kind of weird movement or if I see anything, because I'm just like, I'm determined to catch all the killers. But had you heard that one about the brake light?
Yes, that's a good one. I feel like a lot of people actually don't know about that.
Yeah. Also, when you're driving, like if you feel like someone's coming up to your car, one of the things they said is like, if that means you need to run a light to be safe, then like do it. Right. It's better that you get a ticket or like something like that than just sitting there because you're like, oh, it's a red light and this guy ran up to my car and got me. Like get out of there if you need to.
Drive, people drive.
Get out of there. Another one was like about being approached at gunpoint. So this was one of the police officers was saying that it's a lot more likely that you will get away if you do not go with them than if you go with them.
Right.
So when someone holds a gun to you, most of the time they're not wanting to shoot you. They're just using it as a way to intimidate you and get you to go. So she was saying, like, if someone holds you at gunpoint, don't just freeze and do whatever they say because you're afraid of being shot.
Yeah.
Like, be like, no, and like run and scream and do what you have to do.
Right.
And
like the woman in the parking lot.
Yeah.
If the guy pulls the gun, I understand wanting to drive because you're scared of the gun. But like in the end, he's in a very public parking lot.
Yeah.
Would he really pull the gun? Maybe. But then at the same time, he'd get caught probably really quick, and there's cameras everywhere.
Oh, totally.
So,
and for me, I'm like, if someone's trying to like take me at gunpoint, they're probably not going to do fun things with me. So like, just shoot me, bro.
Be shot. Yeah.
I'm out.
Shoot. Yeah.
I'm out. Ooh, this was super interesting. So like car services, like when you take your car to get like maintenance or car washes or valet, like all that kind of stuff where you just hand over your keys. There have been reports that people would take the keys and they would make copies and molds of house keys.
I've heard of that.
And that's how they would like get into people's houses. And a lot of times if you're using your card or if you're filling anything out that has your address, you're like, that's such an easy thing that they can do. So one of the things they suggested, always just take your car key off and give that. Don't give your entire set of keys.
My dad told me that when I first started driving.
Really?
And to this day, I always hand
I had never heard that.
Because he'd be like, no,
That's
they will.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's scary. It's easy.
Gosh, see, I hope you all are. I'm very fascinated by this. Are you fascinated?
Very.
Very,
Safety
she
first.
said. Just a couple more. One of the things is on dates or if you're in public. I feel like everyone should know this, but watching your drinks. I feel like we've all been told like you don't accept a drink from a stranger or stuff like that. But even when you get up to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
And that was one I did. I know of. I'm pretty sure it was my mom knows of someone or something. I don't know. I'm having weird deja vu, but where she went on a date with a guy. She got her own drink and all this stuff, and they were having dinner, and it was great. Got up to go to the restroom, and while she was gone, he drugged her drink, and then she woke up the next day, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got to literally think about everything.
Yeah.
Like, you are watching that the whole time. So if that means you got to chug it real fast before you go to the bathroom, that's fine. But even your food.
I thought about this before. Because there was one time where I was thinking about that. I was on a date, drank the whole thing, and then came back and he had ordered me another drink. And I was like, am I going to be paranoid and deny it? So I think the best thing you can do is almost be done with a drink, not completely done, and then go to the bathroom like you will, and then come back and order another one, and then just don't finish the other one. So you can watch them bring the new one and then just not finish it, because you could be like, oh, I don't like the end. It's all watery.
Well, and also I think like it's okay to just say like, hey, like, I'm so sorry, I'm paranoid, but we just met, so like I'm not gonna drink this. Like,
no, for sure.
You know
but
what
if you're
I
not
mean?
the type of person to say anything, that's what I would do.
I'm so upfront with like the couple times I have met up with someone from dating apps where like I'll just tell them straight to their face, like, my friends have your phone number, your picture. I screenshotted your entire dating profile, and they are tracking my location, and I have to text them every hour. So I'm just letting you know, like, don't kill me because you will get caught. Like, I will take you down with me.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think, and every time I'm like super blunt about it, or if they're like, hey, like, oh, we should go here. Like, do you want to get in my car? Like, I have no problem just being like, actually, you're a stranger. So like, I'm vibing. I'm down to like go somewhere else, but like I'll meet you there. And people respect that. Like, they always like laugh, and they'll just be like, oh, that sucks. You have to think about that. But don't be afraid to be paranoid. And then the last one was just being aware, like when you go to like a pharmacy or places where they say, you know, oh, can I get your address, or can you confirm with a number, things like that. Yeah. Just being aware of your voice volume, because it's an easy way that people can just listen and know where you live.
Yeah. Ew.
So I
it gives
feel
me
like
chills. I don't like it.
I know, but it's good to talk about, and I think we need to like be aware of stuff, and we can still love people and be positive and give people benefit of the doubts, but we have to also just be prepared.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And hopefully never have to use any of this information we just talked about.
100%.
Yeah. So that's all I got. That's my quick how to not
get
die.
murdered. Yeah. It was great.
Thanks,
It was
Ash.
really broken down. I hope everyone had their pens and
I know.
paper out,
I know.
jotting it down and stuff.
Yeah, we just want you guys to live because we're fam now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long, healthy lives.
Long, healthy lives.
On that note,
are you gonna lighten this up?
I have a tearing it up for us.
Perfect.
I figured, if we're going to talk about this and transition into something else, then we need a transition piece. So this is a tearing it up. If you guys don't know what a tearing it up is, this is the segment in our podcast where people send in awkward, embarrassing stories that are similar to what Taryne might have experienced in her life. She has a lot of awkward, embarrassing stories.
Yes, I
so
do.
that is why it is called tearing it up. This one, actually, I don't want to give anything away, so I'm just gonna get right into it.
Okay, love it.
Dear Ashley and Taryne, I have been listening to your podcast from the very beginning, and I love it. On my walk to school every morning, I listen, and it is so awkward laughing out loud on an empty street in the middle of nowhere by myself in the morning. LOL.
Oh, girl, make sure you only have one headphone in, though.
I was gonna say, after that whole conversation.
Protect.
Anyways, let's get on with the story. Last year, I was going swimming with my class. It was a week-long class, and I decided I wanted to be the first one out of the change room every day for the week. The first day, I was the second, so the second day, I wore my bathing suit under all of my clothes. Of course, I was the first on the bench, and I was so overjoyed. The lifeguard was looking at me really weirdly, and I thought it was because he was shocked at my speed at getting out of the change room. The boys started coming out of the change room and were laughing, and then I realized I was still wearing my bright red padded bra over my bathing suit from my clothes. I ran into the girls' change room and slipped it off all the way. I made it into the change room, took off the bra, laughed it off, and tried to be normal for the rest of the swimming lesson. I can't describe the intense embarrassment I experienced that day.
Oh my gosh.
Love you both lots, Anonymous.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
It's so funny because being the first person out of the change room sounds like why? It's like, what? It's not that big of a deal. But I'm so the type of person who would do that, where I would just be like, well, first of all, changing rooms I always feel a little claustrophobic because people are everywhere. So I totally get wanting to be out of there right away. And then also first on the bench, does that mean you're first to swim? Probably. And that just makes sense to me. So I can kind of relate to to wanting to be out first and planning methodically how I'm going to do it. And then I just picture her sitting there on her bench with her red bra on. So unaware. So unaware. Poor baby girl. I'm so sorry, but thank you for that. Thank you for sending it in.
She played it off super well.
Sounds like she played it off great.
Laugh it off. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I love that it was red.
I would have been like, this isn't
black, where
this isn't
you could
weak.
be like, oh, maybe it's a bathing suit top. Bright red.
Yeah,
so good.
So good. Oh my gosh.
So good. Thanks for sending it in.
That was
If you guys have any tearing it ups that you want to send in that you think are hilarious, please send them in because we need a good laugh here and there.
We do, especially when talking about murder.
Death.
Not murder. Was it murder? Nah, kidnapping. Could lead to
assault.
Assault. All the things. Okay. Well, shall we take a break and then get into a story? Mm-hmm. I don't love that this happened, but I love this story because it's something that she's writing about from her past. And we were just talking about that. I hope that you guys know, this can be stuff that happened to you a long time ago. It doesn't have to be just current things. Because I think sometimes those are the most impactful moments in our lives is stuff that literally happened to us when we were younger and it's shaved. It's shaved us down to who we are. Shaped. Yeah, got it. So I wanted to read this as an example. And then I thought maybe we could both share something maybe someone said to us when we were super young that still to this day we remember. So be thinking about that. Okay, this is titled Story from My Past, and we will get to it after this break. break.
Break.
I thought you were going to say break.
Oh,
I was trying to do it
I
at the
was
same
like,
time.
that's it.
Break. Okay. Hey guys, we just wanted to take a second to just say thank you for being a part of our little Unsolicited Advice family.
We love you guys so much, and it would mean so much to us if you would rate, review, subscribe, and share our podcast. Spread the word, spread the love.
Yes.
Give advice to everyone. Advice for you, advice for your mom, advice
Change
for your
the world.
friends. Change the world. Help us get the word out there. And yeah, that would mean so much to us. And back to the show.
Okay, so this is called Story from My Past. Hello, Taryne and Ashley. Thought I'd put Taryne's name first for a change. LOL.
Well
I
done.
appreciate it. My name is Meg, and I'm from Canada. I've been a big fan of both of you for a couple years now, so you can imagine my excitement when you two started a podcast together. I have kept up with all the episodes, my favorites being the Halloween specials. You are not alone.
Yeah.
I would love to continue to hear Taryne's mom's stories. They are fascinating and shows how strong she is and how far she has come in life, which we're all big Angie fans.
Angie fan for life.
For life. I don't know if she has any more. I don't know, honestly. If
I would be very sad if she had more.
No,
That's a
she
lot.
does. She's told me that, but I can't do it.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to my story. I'm 16 now, and I am in online school as of grade 9. As of grade 9?
Mm-hmm. 9th grade.
How old are you when you're 16? I mean, what grade are you in? 16.
16, I would say sophomore, junior, because that's when I was 15 when I got my permit, which is sophomore year. So it'd be sophomore,
You
junior.
graduate when you're like 17, 18?
17, 18. Yeah.
Okay. Which for where I live is still junior high. Oh, interesting. Before entering into online school, I was a part of a junior high school in my town. It was toxic, and I already knew that before even walking into grade 7 because my older sister had gone there. The teachers at the school never actually taught. Our social teacher in grade 8 even hit on me a couple times, which made me so uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely not a fan of this school.
Throwing my water bottle.
Yeah. She goes on to like a bunch of different stuff that just was like not appropriate for that age. This school was super messed up, and I cried at the end of practically every school week. Not to mention, my biggest insecurity was right there with me, my weight. I got called pig a couple times, and I never appreciated that comment because words do hurt, which I can't even describe like the rage of reading that sentence.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
That's the worst. Kids suck.
Why? But why do you even have to what gives you the urge or the right to call someone a name?
It's stupid. It's insecurity. The kid that says that, I think.
I want to fight them all. Okay, words do hurt. In grade 8, I can think of a specific time in gym class where we were to partner up with a friend. Then we stand one in front of the other with our partner to do some kind of activity. The gym teacher instructed the front row to slide down one person. This way we were encouraged to get to know other people, not just our friends. I didn't mind. Seeking as many new friends was a great opportunity. However, the girl to my right, who had to be my new partner, looked at me up and down, then called out in front of the entire class, including the teacher, how she refused to partner up with me and began begging the teacher to put her with someone else. It was so awkward and only made me feel worse about how I looked, and I had to hold in my tears because the whole gym class was staring at me at this point. After a minute of refusal, the teacher told the girl that she had no other choice and I was her only option, which his teacher needs to be talked to.
It's already a bad situation. That just makes it so much worse. For her being the responsible adult that could make that change.
Completely.
Yeah.
And I feel like as an educator or as someone who's in charge of kids, which I read an email, someone was like, Taryne, talk more about education. So here you go.
Let's talk about it.
Here's a little thing. when you are in charge of a group of kids, like you're constantly needing to feel out the room, right? Like you're watching for those subtle things where you're seeing a kid get sad, or you're seeing like kids like whispering like they're up to something.
Yeah.
And I don't typically work with this age, but I have before. And I know like for me, like when I was teaching choir, like if there was ever something that was said that was mean, like if I was this teacher, immediately I would have said, you know what, you can go sit and not be in this activity. And then I would have, because you know your kids, I would have put a sweet kid that I knew was going to be nice with her and like try to be like, hey, like don't worry about it, and talk to her after. But like move past the incident, make that kid go sit out, and now she's the one being you know, the center of attention.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I would have had a very stern talking to about how that's unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my first thing.
Pop off, Taryne.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, and give me your teacher's info. I'll let her know. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so the girl reluctantly stood in front of me, but again, looked her up and down before turning her head. So she looked her up and down again and turned her head because she was frustrated.
Ew.
This is a memory that is stuck with me because it shows how far emotionally and physically I've come. Since that point, I have lost 30 pounds and I'm so proud of myself. Emotionally, I have become stronger. I like to believe it comes from past memories such as those. I am still working on myself, and I guess my question for you two to give advice for me is, what would you have done in a situation like that? As I feel I should have stood up for myself, but then tears truly would have fallen. Thank you for everything you guys do for others on your podcast, and how you always look at a situation from more than one side. You guys always make my day. Love, Meg.
Meg. Sorry. Oh my
I
God.
know.
That girl's a brat.
I know.
Everyone knows a girl like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, girl. Do you want to say what comes to mind before I?
Can you go first so I can think more?
Ashley's like, don't put me on the spot. Well, honestly, okay, so my thing is, I kind of don't like the way that you said, like, but now look how far I've come. And you defined how far you've come as that you've lost weight. Because I want you to hear this very clearly. You do not need to lose weight, or you do not need to change anything about yourself to expect or to deserve the love that you should be getting.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm glad that you are proud of yourself and the things you've done. And I think that's awesome. Like getting healthy, doing stuff for yourself, being like emotionally mature and things like that is all great. But that should come out of a place of like self-love, and not I'm trying to change myself because people hurt me or made fun of me, and I need to change myself.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that you are like still being gentle to yourself.
Yeah.
Because obviously those comments still affect you, which
I mean, and naturally
makes sense. Yeah. But it's a very fine line of like doing things because you love yourself and you want to improve yourself out of loving yourself. And I hope that you don't think like, oh, well, I'm good now because I've lost weight. Because girl, that does not matter. Like, you are beautiful no matter what you look like or no matter how much you weigh. Like that's something I just really wanted to like emphasize, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's as far as like what we would do in that situation. I feel like that's really hard because I'm not the type of person to stand up for myself, and I'm not the type of person to speak boldly about like anything in general. So I feel like I probably would have ended up doing exactly what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you don't have the ability to say something at that moment or stick up for yourself, that doesn't mean that you were weak, and that doesn't mean that you, I don't know, let someone walk all over you. It just means you didn't want to address it or say anything. And there's been plenty of instances where I wish I could have been like, oh yeah, well, like you, like screw you, or call her out for, you know, her nappy hair or her like split ends, or her like, you know, like, oh, well, your hair color is terrible, or, you know, just like call her out for like something.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think it's always better to be the bigger person. And sometimes
completely.
staying silent is being the bigger person.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that that girl has grown up since then and also remembers the incident and is very ashamed of how she acted.
Yeah. No, totally. And I think sticking up for yourself can come in like many different ways. Like it doesn't have to be a vocal, like, don't talk to me that way. It can be you just telling yourself quietly inside, like, don't listen to her. Like, she does not define you. Like, you are beautiful. Like, who cares what she has to say? So I think there's not one solid definition, like you were saying, of like how to be strong or whatever.
Sometimes
like
being strong is not breaking.
Yeah.
And
completely.
that's like the strongest thing you could do in that moment.
And I've had moments like that where I'm like concentrating so hard on just like, I do not want to cry in front of these people. You know, like I don't want to give them that power.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. But I think even like you just writing in and saying like, you know, this was something that hurt me and I want to do as much as I can to like heal from that and not have it affect me. Like that is you sticking up for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I've said this so many times. I really believe we're different versions of ourselves throughout our entire life. So like when I tell a story about when I was bullied when I was younger or something like that, like I'm giving that version of myself a voice. So I don't think, you know, it doesn't mean like right at that second, if I don't do something to stick up for myself, I never can and I always will regret it. Years later, you can take that moment to be like, no, like she didn't deserve that. Like that version of me did not deserve that. So I think honestly, like you are sticking up for yourself just by like writing this and by choosing to like move on with your life, you know?
Also by being vulnerable and sharing it with us, I guarantee you there's a lot of people in high school that listen to this podcast. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's a big one. Yeah. And I guarantee you there's some guys and girls that feel exactly how you felt back then. And maybe they don't have a voice either. Yeah. And that makes them feel heard and that makes them feel understood. Yeah. And it makes them feel like they're not alone. And maybe if this happens soon to one of them, they'll be able to speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the power of... I'm going to sound so cheesy. I was like, that's the power of our podcast.
I was just going to say of our podcast.
But it is like, I mean, that's what we read over and over. And that is honestly what pumps me and Ash up the most to like continue this is the fact that people are like, you're helping me to like help other people. Or now I understand what my friend was going through or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also like I'm going through the same situation. Like that's so... great. It's why we need people. But
it really is.
I hope that this has helped you. I definitely think I think that you are stronger than you think just by being able to admit that like that affected you, because a lot of people try to just brush it off because you think like it makes you weak to be sad, but sadness is not weakness at all.
No, and the way that she wrote it was just so like, this is what I went through. This is where that situation has taken me now. Like I'm stronger now because of it. Yeah. That's incredible.
No, I love that.
It's inspirationing.
It's inspirational.
What is my problem? Oh my God. Guys, it's inspirational.
Every time we make up words, we should just post them.
Yeah.
And define them.
Have our own dictionary.
Inspirationing. There's
Urban Dictionary and there's Unsolicited Dictionary.
That's so good. Did you think of something someone told you when you were younger?
Yeah. So a fun fact about me is that I didn't date at all through high school. I had my very first boyfriend was in 7th grade. That lasted a hot minute. And then I didn't date anyone until after high school. So that was like good 4 or 5 years of just singleness. And it's funny because like I never had a problem. The only time it was a problem was during dances.
Oh yeah.
I was very much in a place where like I wasn't too concerned with guys. And I was very like all about friends, all about drumline. And I didn't really concern myself with any boy problems at that time. But there was a rumor that got spread by one of the guys in my class that said I was lesbian. And it got around to pretty much, it felt like my entire class, but it wasn't. It was probably like half of my class before I actually heard the rumor, because one of the other guys was like, I was hanging out with some of my friends and one of them asked me just straight up and was like, hey, are you? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Where did you hear that from? And one of my girlfriends that I was with was like, where the hell did you hear that from? My personality exactly. Like, I'm just like, no. And I start panicking. And then the girl I was with was like, I'll kill you. You know, it's so funny. And he was like, oh, I don't know. I heard, you know, through the, you know, grapevine. To this day, I still don't know who started it. But I am so aware of that now. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever been able to shake it since then. Of this, like, oh, am I? And then it was like, I think it was that I was a sophomore that year. So I feel like that entire sophomore year, I was like, does not having a boyfriend and like not having one for a while mean that I'm interested in girls? And I like was like, no, like it never has been. But then I've always been very aware of like, oh, if I'm single, people are going to think that. And
so how do I show them I'm not?
How do I show them that I'm not? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean like date everyone or date someone all the time. Yeah. Because I don't want to do that either. But to this day, like that, I can't forget it. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not. Yeah. So there's
just that. Want to clarify.
Pretty sure about that. But like I had to just realize like, no, like I'm single and I've been in seasons where I haven't been single, but in my single seasons, I've just learned that like, no, I'm fine. Stop caring about what other people think. And 90% of people don't think that way. No. These are just stupid high school boys that have nothing better to do with their lives. Yeah. But like, I still remember like exactly what he said.
That feeling of knowing that people were just talking about you and you weren't there is very like, it feels like an invasion. Like you're just like, well, what were you saying? I'm sorry. Yeah. Were you making fun of me? Like how long were you talking about me? You know, it's just like very unnerving.
Yeah. And I mean, not to make you feel bad for them, but to their defense, I was in drumline. I did drum and I didn't have great style back then. So, I mean, it wasn't too far of a leap to maybe go there, but like still, like that was still like a really douchey way to
because you know they were doing it to be like, oh, nobody likes her. She doesn't like anybody, so she must be. Yeah,
she must
just
be.
Being.
Yeah, and then to like screw with me for all of sophomore year, like, is that what that means? You know. Yeah. So, anyways,
I'm sorry.
High school sucks, guys.
I'm so sorry.
And it's totally fine to have moments like that you have to learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And squash rumors.
Freaking
squash all the rumors.
Get you a squad that'll squash them for you.
Oh, I'll squash them, girl. I'll squash them real nice. I am having, again, I don't know what is with me. You were having deja vu on the way over here.
Oh my God.
I'm having it really bad right now. But even if I've said this, whatever. Mine is, and I already can hear it. I'm going to say it and everyone's going to be like, oh, it's so sad. But it's fine. We good.
I mean, we're fine. Mine was sad too. It's fine.
I was in junior high and it was actually, and it just shows how much you shouldn't take things personal, because the person who said this is still to this day like a really good friend of mine and the sweetest person ever. And it just shows that we were immature junior hires who literally didn't know what we were talking about.
Terrible age.
So that's what showed, like, sometimes people say things to you and they're ignorant and they don't know what they're talking about. So to give them so much power of like their statements controlling you, like I wish we just could turn it off so easily, you know?
I know.
But I remember I was in love with this one guy for like all of junior high, like in love with him still to this day, RIP. And we were playing a game and we all had to like hold hands, and then they told us to let go, and he kept holding my friend's hand and they were looking at each other smiling. So of course little potato Taryne was like, started crying and was, I'm sure, way more dramatic than it needed to be, but like ran to the room because I was like so sad. Yeah. So my friend came after me and I was crying and I was just saying, again, something I didn't understand at that time is it wasn't that boys didn't like me, but my dad was my principal, and so they were all terrified to like me.
Right.
But in my mind, no one liked me, like no one. And I was so confused by that. And so she sat with me and I was crying and I was like, I just don't understand. Like, why does everyone always likes you and no one ever likes me? Yeah. And she just was trying to be helpful, but she turned to me and said, well, maybe if you like wear a bigger bra and like lose some weight, then boys will like you.
God, I do remember this story.
Isn't that like the saddest?
It's very, and like, I don't know who said that, and I'm sure she didn't mean it.
Oh, no.
But that is it's poor advice.
It's so sad. What's even
trying to be so polite, because obviously it's a friend of yours. Yeah.
What's even more sad is I sat there and was like, okay. With jokes on all of you, because they came. They came. So, but yeah, I remember like that was such a defining thing to me was like, boys will not like me until I look a certain way.
Big boobs, skinny waist. Yeah.
And it just was, it was not
That's society.
Not
also.
a good time. Yeah. Let's not even get going on that. Oof. But yeah, it's so all this to say, like, we all can relate. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to be careful with your words.
So careful with the words. How you choose to say them.
Yes.
Also, that was just such bad advice. I'm still on that. That's the worst thing to say to someone when they're down.
I should post a picture of myself from junior high too. Like, I never went through like an awkward phase.
Oof.
I definitely was like a little bit round, like my face. I just was like, I was just this cute little just like nugget, you know?
Have it. Are you ready?
What?
For our proof it for this week.
Oh my God, I need to write this down.
We need to, with a little more, description, please. So it's not just words. So we actually remember.
Oh yeah.
What it is.
Picture.
We are both going to post high school pics.
Oh my God.
And literally the caption is just going to say high school sucks.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a picture of you, a picture of me.
And junior high. Let's do our photo that we feel like defines us in junior high and then high school, because both are different types of rough.
Junior high, what is a hairbrush? That was my problem. That was one
I
of my
can't
big
wait
problems.
to show you. I was just this little ball. Just like
so cute.
This round little face that was so happy all the time. So unaware.
I looked like a boy.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
So bad. This look forward to these posts. Actually, if you're listening to this, it's up right now. So go check it out, where we'll give you hope in life.
Or sometimes it's up later in the day. Like there's sometimes where like we sleep, or we're like, oh, it's noon, we should post stuff. But by the end of the day, it'll be up.
It'll be up. Yeah.
We are super pumped. Well, this is a leeway, so we love you. Thank you for sending in.
Yeah, thanks for being vulnerable with us.
We are super freaking pumped about February.
Yes, we have so many fun, exciting things coming your way.
Yes, we do. So, we don't want to give anything away. We might be having some guests. Mm-hmm. If you have things that, you want to send in short things to ask, like, there was this guy and we were talking and then he ghosted me and I said this and he said this and I always wanted to ask him, like, why did you say this? Mm-hmm. Things like that, like short things. If you guys want to send those in, you should.
You totally should.
Also good pickup lines.
Yeah, good pickup lines.
Also dating app things.
Yes.
Just, again, it's every week's going to be something fun.
Yes.
It's a month of love or lack thereof.
Yes. Valentine's Day is coming, guys. So if you have, this includes for tearing it up. This includes stories. Mm-hmm. This includes shorties. If you have any Valentine's Day related situations that were awkward, that were embarrassing, that were funny, that were emotional, that you like sobbed over, where you were heartbroken. Like, if you think you have a story, please send it in. No story is not good enough. We want all the juicy love stories. And we can't wait to get into this love month with you guys.
Gosh, I'm so excited. I love Valentine's
I would love some
Day.
Funny ones. That would be great. Because I feel like when I say Valentine's Day related stories, I think of like sad, heartbroken, or like, you got proposed to on Valentine's Day or something like that. But nothing like comical. I would love some comedy. That would be good.
Oh, we love the comedy. I'm trying to find, I screenshot a dad joke, but I can't find it.
Oh no.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Oh,
you heard this one?
No. I feel like I have, but
this is when
something
you'll hear
about
the answer
crack.
and be like,
something about crack.
Mm-hmm. Cocaine. Just kidding.
Oh. Wait, that was good.
Yeah.
'Cause they'll crack. That
was actually close. Because they'd crack each other up.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm proud of myself. I give myself half credit for that one.
No, I'll give you half for that.
Because they crack.
Crack.
Like an egg.
Crack.
Cocaine. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. Sorry if you were offended by the
Yeah,
cocaine
we don't
joke.
I want to clarify something.
I want to clarify.
We don't do drugs.
We sober.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have stories, again, please write them in. Follow us on the socials. Share, rate, like, review, subscribe. All those things. We love you, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.